Hello everyone, welcome back to Solo Leveling Arise, and today we're going to talk about Amamiya, a pretty awesome character who is a wind assassin, really aesthetically pleasing looking character. She's a really beautiful girl, and I actually love her hairline, that's nice, and a little ribbon and bag, and then of course her sword is pretty damn badass. And as always guys, whenever you pull in these banners for these characters, you're going to be able to get their weapon, and her weapon's actually insane for her because it does increase her power charge rate. This is really important for her rotation because it's all about her ultimate. The more often you can do her ultimate, the more damage you're going to do with this girl. This thing's at A1, so it's actually, you get a power charge gauge. Your power gauge is increased by 20% instead of 10% when it's A0. So really good. And not only that, but you also increase your critical hit and your critical hit rate and your critical hit damage by doing her skills by 10%. So it's a massive weapon for her, and I just love that solo leveling always allows us to be able to get these weapons for these characters, especially if we're pulling for them. So that's really awesome. And so then we get start talking about her skills. Her first skill, which is pretty cool, Kurora's Sword Technique Type 1, one winged. Very nice. And then her second skill, Type 2, Dance of Raven. She does 2 slashes. Now this is a really cool skill right here, the Wings of Night, where she does a few slashes and then she goes to the other side. This is actually very cool because whenever you're attacking and you get on the other side of your opponent, they're not going to be able to hit you unless they have a lot of AoE. So it's a really good skill to adjust your position, get behind your opponent, and then go ahead and jump into your Raven's Cry, where she jumps up and does a big slash down. It's a pretty short skill, so whenever you spin around, so whenever you use your Wings of Night, and you get on the other side of your opponent and you do the Raven's Cry, then it works out really well to where you're actually going to increase your survivability quite well. Her support skill does have a knockdown on it whenever you're using her with Chen Wu, which is nice. I mean, that's cool, right? There's some damage there. And then for the QT, whenever she's working with the other hunters, she's actually going to, have a lot of damage, and she's also going to recover their MP. It kind of sucks that they didn't do that for Chen Wu, where you increase your MP, at least with this skill. But, whenever you're doing your QT with your hunters, it will, recover their MP or their mana, so they're able to go through their skills a little bit more often, which is nice, guys. Really good. And then we get into her ultimate. This is really the bread and butter of this character. This thing is freaking phenomenal looking. But on top of that, guys, like, your power gauge consumption is going to be 100%, so you're going to empty it all out. And when the user uses this skill, it applies a possessed effect. And when the user uses this skill, it removes all debuffs from all your team members. This is really powerful in this game. And when the user tags out, or they have 10% or less of their MP, it removes the possessed effect, right? And possessed resets the cooldown of her skills. When the user uses their basic attack, it decreases the cooldown of your skills as well. It also grants you super armor, which is very nice, and deals additional damage proportional to 20% for each attack. Consumes 3% of the user's max MP every 3 seconds. So the more MP she has, the better off you're going to be. And then when you get into her passive, guys, whenever she has 66% or more of her maximum MP, it applies the Kurora's Darkness effect. Increase the user's attack by 4% every additional 150 MP up to 40%. So the more MP that you have, the more damage that you're actually going to be doing, right? And then, of course, increase the damage of Kurora's Sword Type 3 Wings of Night and Technique Type Raven's Cry by 30%, her 2 skills. So very nice, guys. And while the possessed, now this is A1, while the possessed effect is active, it increases the user's critical hit rate and critical hit damage by 20%. This is actually a very good sweet spot for her because that is massive. Critical hit rate, critical hit damage by 20%. Just getting one extra copy of her is very powerful. And when the user uses her Wings of Night while possessed effect is active after your ultimate, it applies Deep Darkness effect. So when you do your ultimate and you have the possessed thing in CAC, then it will increase the user's attack and critical hit rate by 12%, stacking up to 2 times, giving you 24% critical rate. Just OP as hell, guys. She's all about those crits. And then at A2, she charges the user's power gauge by 40% when entering the stage. This is also very powerful because you want to use your ultimate more often. And if she has more power gauge, she's going to be able to do her ultimate even more often. Very nice. A3, when she uses her base attack or core, it charges their MP and power gauge by 1%, decreases the cooldown of lethal move, Moonless Night, Overture by 2 seconds. Very powerful, guys. And then increases Amamiya's wind damage by 10%, and for every wind team member in the party, stacking up to 3 times. This is very good for your wind team because they're going to get, 30% win damage at A4. Not just her, but the whole team. This is very powerful. And then at A5, while possessed, and again, you use your ultimate, then you get the possess, the user gains the Raven's Confession effect. And Raven's Confession increases the damage of Type 3, Wings of Night, and Type 4, Raven's Cry by 80%. Massive damage buff. If you guys want to know the sweet spot, personally, I think it's A2. But in this game, you're just going to find that you're just going to want to get as many copies of these characters as you can, because a lot of this content is actually extremely difficult, and you're just going to need as much as possible. So whatever the amount of essence that you have, you might want to pull for her. You might want to get a copy of her. She's going to be put in the other banner after this banner ends, more than likely. So you'll be able to hopefully get her after that if you don't have enough currency to go ahead and pull for her now. But when it comes to our artifacts, guys, because of her crits, I just went ahead and put on the free set that we have for her, giving her that critical hit rate, critical hit damage. This is what you want to put on this girl. You want crit. You can put the toughness set also on her if you want to do that, right? And as you guys can see, you want to prioritize additional attack, you want to prioritize MP, and you want to prioritize critical hit damage in that order, by the way, as well. The more attack that you have, the better. The more MP that you have, the better, guys, because her damage is actually based off of MP. The more MP she has, the more damage she's actually going to be doing throughout the fight. And then your critical damage, I think that's self-explanatory as far as doing more damage. So you definitely are looking for additional attack or attack percentage, MP, and then critical hit damage. Now, I just kind of went with whatever I got. I didn't really, because these were the free ones, we didn't have a whole lot of time to figure out what we want. Like, you really want additional attack, like right here for this. You want MP, I don't have no MP here, right? I don't got nothing. No MP there, yeah. So, like, we really need to get some MP on this girl, big time, because we don't have any. We got some additional attacks, which is good, but no MP, no critical hit damage either. I think I saw a critical hit rate a while ago. So not really the most optimal stats, but this is what I'm running with. Everybody's going to have this because this is free. Even on my free-to-play account, I did get all these things, and these are at level 65, so this is actually really awesome. And by the way, this full set, the 8-piece set, you can put on your Jin Woo early on, especially, so you can do a lot more damage. It's actually going to be very, very good for Jin Woo. Now, when it comes to your win team, as far as who you should be using, obviously, if you have Wang Dong-Su, he's going to be amazing on your team. He's a really solid damage dealer, as well as being able to remove shields. So very, very nice. And then you also have, say, for example, Jin Chul. Now, Jin Chul, everybody got for free through login events, and he's actually insane, guys. He has a ridiculous amount of break in his kit. He will destroy those meters and allow you to do a lot more damage to your opponents. So he's actually highly recommended to be put on your team, especially if you have a break set up on him. I don't even have him built that well. I'm actually working on him, but his break is nuts, guys. Like, it is so good. And you could put, like, say, for example, you could put this old guy right here, good old Saint Chick here, because he actually does have break as well. But the thing is, guys, because Jin Chul has so much better break and he was free, that's really the character you should use. But if this is your only other wind option, you could put him on the team. You could put Park on the team. And whenever you're using, like, playing with Jin Woo, Park's actually going to give ultimate skill damage by an extra 15%. Now, the thing that's really nice about this is whenever you get in those certain positions where you're using Jin Woo and your hunters, and they all have a team formation where they're all playing together, whenever she does her ultimate, she's going to buff up Amamiya on the team tremendously, and Jin Woo whenever they do their ultimate. So very, very powerful character to have on your team. Now, if you're using her on the team without Jin Woo, she's still going to be a nice little character to have, to be honest, because you already have that break from Jin Chul. But it's just it's an option that you could go with. You could go with Bomshik. I probably mispronounced his name. Honestly, I haven't even tried to level this guy up, because all he really is just a solid damage dealer, to be perfectly honest, guys. And so, but you could put him on the team with her as well. And if you really wanted to, guys, you could also use like another different support character. Like, for example, you could use Min here. Min would actually be very, very good because he does offer quite a bit of extra damage, guys, because he does increase critical rate and critical damage by 12% for all team members on the team. So he can actually be a nice little support to have on the team. Or you could even use good old Mei Lin here if you wanted to, because she can actually offer a little something as well. But you could get a heal from this girl, you get a heal from Min, or you can also increase her core damage and remove a shield. Now, if you already have this guy right here, Dongsu, removing the shield, you don't really need two characters to remove a shield, but if you do have two characters removing a shield, it might be fairly beneficial, but really you want to I personally would stick with a solid wind team, personally. Now, we're going to take on the Scorching Lava Stone Guardian, guys. We're just going to do tier 2 because this is extremely hard, guys. Like, this stuff is not easy. And we're going to be using our good old wind team. If I can find it here. Let me see. We click on this, baby. There we go. All right, we're going to be using this team right here. And obviously, we're going to be using Amamiya. We have good old Jin Chul here. And then we're going to be using Wang Daksu. And as you guys can see, our total power is 288,000. They recommend 280,000. And wind is obviously going to be an advantage or dark. So let's jump in here and let's talk about how to play her, because she's really, honestly, she's pretty self-explanatory. Like, there really isn't a whole lot to her, but I'm going to be using my old boy here that's going to give that 20% core damage, which is nice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bring him down. All right, now what we want to do, guys, is we want to try to break that meter as fast as possible. Okay? Fast as possible. All right, all right. There we go, there we go, there we go, go. And there we go. And now we can bring in Wong Daksu here. Whoa, bam! Alright, and since the shield is broke, watch this. So now we're going to run through our skills. We're going to go on the other side. We do a few slashes. And then we run through our core, and then we switch to Jin Chul. We're going to start running through his skills. Alright, do his ultimate. Bam! Alright. I just love the fact. Come on, come on. Alright. There we go. And bam. Oh shit. Oh yeah, and this guy's ultimate's so fun to play. Like, it's just so crazy. Oh my god! That sucked. And I was just talking about his ultimate. There we go, there we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. I'm sitting here hitting my ultimate. It wasn't even working. I don't know what the hell was going on. And you want to make sure you use her core attack, guys, because it does a lot of damage. Like, I kind of sped through her a little bit too fast, in all honesty. Come on. Oh. I just love that she spins around these guys so much. It's so awesome. Oh, yeah. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Right? Smooth sailing for the most part. Getting through it, right? I mean, this is not easy, but it's pretty wild to have almost 300,000 battle power and come that close to the end. But Amamiya is awesome, guys. Like, she's a really terrific character. She's very easy to play. Literally, you just want to do her ultimate and then just run through her skills, right? Just do the first skill, do the second skill afterwards, and you'll be fine. She'll do insane damage, but you want to make sure, especially if you're using, like, certain shadows, like this guy here offers core attack damage by 20%. So if you're using this guy, you really want to make sure that you're using your core attacks on Amamiya or your other characters. And by the way, he is insane for Alicia. Just saying, some of you might not be at the point in the game where you have this guy. Some of you, maybe you will. But I actually was able to beat this even before I had that shadow. But she is amazing, guys. Like, she's lit. She's awesome, and I really would recommend her because the truth is the Dark team kind of struggles right now. It's very hard for them to get anything done. We don't have a supreme dark damage dealing character. Yeah, we got some characters that are fairly strong, but they're not on the level of Cha. They're not on the level of Amamiya. They're not on the level of Yus and Hu. They're just not on the level of those characters. They're just not as strong as them. Eventually, we're going to get one, but I say that you probably should try to get her because, you know, these stages, you're going to need wind or darkness, right? You're going to need wind or darkness. This is light and fire, so that don't matter. But you're going to need wind and darkness for this one right here. And you're going to need wind and darkness for this guy right here as well. So she's going to be very, very helpful as far as getting it done, getting these extra rewards in the game. So I can't recommend her enough, guys. I think she's absolutely worth pulling, but let me know what you all think about her. And I do stream on Twitch and YouTube, link Twitch in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody. Take care.
Get out of my sight! How's this? It's so simple. I'll grind to dust! Don't mess with me! Go away.
Shadow Walk! Time of the Raven! Annihilation! The Raven. Queens of Night. Raven's cry.
Get out of my sight! How's this? This will hurt quite a bit. You're so irritating. I'll grind to dust! Eyes on me!
Shadow Walk! Wings of Night! Wings of Wind!
Get out of my sight! I'll grind to dust! Don't mess with me! I'll rip you to shreds!
Shadow Walk! Time of the Raven! Annihilation! Dance of the Raven! Queens of Night! Dark Knight and Lightning Strike!
Get out of my sight! I'll grind to dust! Eyes on me! It's really boring. It was always gonna end this way.